After a week hiatus, we are officially back in the house. Welcome to Outside Shots, featuring my man Eddie Johnson. I'm Saul Bookman, and as always, we're brought to you by the lovely people at OG's. I love the sweater.
I showed up with my man Double D, Daryl Dawkins, because I might have to slam down on you.
I mean, why? Eddie, I thought after a week off, maybe the aggression will go somewhere else, and maybe you come back in a lighter mood.
No.
Look, are you disgruntled? Do you want to talk about
aggressive.
it? What's going on?
I'm aggressive. And
you beat me at golf. You should be.
I'm aggressive and I'm hot. Just like Denzel, baby.
Oh my God. We're doing this again.
I'm hot.
All right. Okay. Well, you know who's not hot? It's not Monty Williams with the Phoenix Suns anymore. So, I know you've spoken your piece about it on your Sirius FM show, but the lovely people here have not heard that yet. And I will say this: I've said it multiple times. I think Monty Williams was the perfect coach at the perfect time for this organization. It was a much needed change from what the past had been. I think he did a tremendous job in turning this program around, and he's a tremendous individual. All that being said, I'm not surprised by the move. I think it puts the Suns, depending on who they get next, they need somebody to get them over the top. And I don't know if you wanted to play that game for a couple more years with Monty Williams. That's my perspective. How about you?
Well, coaches are hired to be fired. I've been around too many, played for too many that have lost their jobs. The NBA, sports in general, is a what have you done for me lately league. It's unfortunate. The players are the entity. Hard to get rid of the players. Easy to get rid of a coach. And Monty knows that more than anyone. And Monty will admit to you, as he did to me, hey, I just didn't get it done. Like when you get it done, then you don't have to worry about these things. Mm-hmm. Doc Rivers just didn't get it done. Nick Nurse didn't get it done.
Did you talk to Monty?
We talked.
Okay, all right.
But it's obviously it's disappointing for anybody when they lose their job, especially a guy like Monty, who really is a tremendous individual, tries to do it the right way, does it with utmost respect, not only for the players but for the media that has to deal with them, and never shied away from just walking past you and addressing you. Mm-hmm. And willing to talk, whereas some people won't do it. Some people, I don't have to name names, but they know who they are. Some people will avoid to talk to you for whatever reasons. I believe when you at a level of leadership, you should never move away from somebody and from a confrontation. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm not saying a negative confrontation, just an enlightening meeting, like, hey, how you doing? What's going on?
Yeah.
And Monty was that guy. And I appreciated that about him because I feel like I'm that guy. I feel like that leaves people with a good feeling. And he leaves the Phoenix Suns and he left people with a good feeling about him. Mm-hmm. That's all you can do. Yeah. That's all you can do. And like I said, it's unfortunate. Suns didn't live up to expectations that people had on them and obviously didn't end that well. And ultimately, the coach is the one that suffers the consequences.
Obviously, the first iteration of a blowout game, an elimination game, or blowout loss in an elimination game was a shock in a Game 7 at home against the Mavericks. You didn't even know how to really rationalize what you were seeing on the court that night. You fast forward one more year and almost the exact same thing plays out on your home court in an elimination game. What was your perspective on Game 6 against the Nuggets and how it all unfolded? And what role did you think could have been manipulated in terms of Monty Williams' approach to that game, if any?
I'll take it from an athletic perspective. It was just a tumbling of a building that just got worse. And we didn't see it coming because we had hope. And that's basically how I look at it. Chris Paul goes down game 2. I think Suns win that game. I thought they were in a great rhythm. I thought Chris had it going. I think they win that game. You know, then obviously the situation, you know, with DeAndre, he goes down. Now you got 2 of our key guys out. You got an adjustment in lineup changes and guys trying to now find their crease into what is expected of them. And then as Kevin Durant would admit, and he did in his post game, you know, press conference, which I really admire him for, because I think for me, I would have done the same thing. He admitted he didn't shoot the ball well.
Yeah, he did.
He admitted that, you know, he could have been better. And then lastly, Devin wasn't healthy. He hurt that foot, I think, in game 5?
Yep.
And you can just tell he didn't have his lift. You can just tell he didn't have that same speed and quickness that he had to be doing what he was doing prior to that. Everything came tumbling down, and then you encounter a team in the Nuggets that totally respects you, and they're playing with fear. And when you're talented and you're focused and you're connected, you play with fear, you dominate. That's just the way it is. Like if you and I were approaching you in an alley and you got that tight shirt on, my fear is ramping up as I approach you. And once I get to you, I dominate you. Like I just totally dominate you. And so I just wanted to use that analogy. I always use you in an analogy.
Clearly, yeah.
And that's exactly
it's fucking awesome.
And that's exactly what Denver did. They dominated, man.
Yeah,
they were just lights out focus, and the Suns couldn't answer it. And it's unfortunate. 2 straight years now at home in closeout games, the Suns get blown out. That is not something good to be on your resume.
No, it isn't. I know there's been a lot of speculation in terms of who could possibly come in here next. You've been around the league. You've talked to a lot of these coaches that are, you know, obviously under a lot of speculation about being a Phoenix Suns head coach. Is there any particular candidate that you think or have an eye on in terms of maybe it would be a good fit where the Suns?
Well, it's a good year to get a good experienced coach, right? And it's always a great year to give someone a chance. And so I don't know what direction the Suns are going to go. I think they're doing it the right way, though. They're interviewing some assistant coaches. I love that. I think it's so impactful for people that have an aspiration to make it as a coach, to give them a chance to stand in front of you as practice. You might not intend to hire them, but it puts their name out there. And so I get on teams all the time about not going through the process of hiring. Okay, we know you're not going to hire them, but you don't know. Benny Del Negro got the Chicago Bulls job by sitting next to John Paxson up in the stands. And they were talking about another coach, and all of a sudden he turned to Vinny because he loved exactly what he was saying. So I think anybody should get the opportunity to get in front of people to see if they are that person. And I think I enjoy what the Suns are going to do here in that regard. And it's a lot of good coaches out there, man. I mean, I don't have to name them. Everybody knows who they are. So do you retread? Do you go with a coach that has been successful but yet failed because he's not with a job? Or do you go with someone new that has some enthusiasm and he might approach it in a fresh manner? So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
I feel like I'm in the minority a little bit with Suns fans because I don't really care if they've done this before or not. I want somebody who is going to have that ability to command the respect that you need out of that position. And respect comes in many different forms, right? I think when people think of respect in coaching regards, they immediately think of, you know, I'm in control of this. I'm a dictator-ish kind of person, and you will respect me kind of like point of view, where I don't see it that way. I think you have a lot of egos. You have a lot of people that are going through a lot of different things in terms of their careers and where they're at in their stages. I mean, you just look at Devin Booker and Kevin Durant in terms of two superstars that are at different points of their career and what they've accomplished. So you can't approach those two the same way because they both have different experiences. A coach that can recognize that and understand, like, okay, how do I pull the most out of this person, because I can't approach this person the same way. You're not going to approach Devin Booker the same way you approach DA and vice versa. Like, that's just not going to happen. So who's that coach that's going to be able to come in here and relate to both of them and get the very most out of both of them, so that way chemistry is back high? One of the things about the Suns that we all loved in the first year and two of the Chris Paul era was the chemistry. Chemistry just looked like the ball was just moving from side to side. Everything was just a nice, smooth, easy flow, with the focus being on Chris Paul and Devin Booker. And this year, it just felt like from the beginning of the year, it was fragmented to a certain degree. The ball movement wasn't as crisp. Turnovers were a little higher than normal. Things were all over the place. So a coach, I don't care if they were an assistant coach or if they've coached a team to a championship before, I want somebody that's just an absolute genius when it comes to the manipulation of your team and getting the very best out of them.
Well, I think what we saw a Denver team and a Clipper team take the Suns out of their offense. And their offense was predicated, obviously, on getting the ball into Devin's hands and KD's hands. And then the decisions would be made, especially when Chris went down. And that's why I say the Chris was sorely missed in that regard, because the play running wasn't as crisp. Devin Booker and Kevin Durant, these are two guys that are very good off the ball. And what I would love to see, and, you know, if I was like sitting there and doing that, I'd have them running off so many screens.
Yes.
I'd have them initiating plays with back screens. I would have them moving, man, and not moving to an insane level, because KD is going to be 35 next year, right? It's just more so making it easy for him to get that great, pristine look that I know if he does, he's going to make it.
Yeah.
And it's just playing much better offense off the ball instead of on the ball when you got 10 eyes on you defensively. That right there has to be improved. And so for me, whoever the coach is, I would hope that he would come in and really devise some plays that are below the free throw line, below the defense's whereabouts or where these two guys are, to spring them into action, get them open, and then it can lead into two-man games. Then it can lead into them just getting quick, good shots early on, because they're two of the best mid-range players in the game. So whoever that coach is, and if that coach doesn't have that mentality, then find an assistant coach next to him that understands offense and can help him with it. That's the beautiful thing about a coach. Can't do it all, man.
Yeah.
So you got to put people around you that can do things better than maybe what you can do. I've always believed that. I'm like, it bothers me sometimes when coaches have, and I'm not saying Monty had it like that. You know, I'm saying that in general, it bothers me when coaches are just comfortable with their friends and people they're familiar with. Sometimes you need a guy sitting next to you that you're not as familiar with, but this guy's going to test you.
Yeah.
This guy can replace you. But this guy's going to push you to concentrate, which means you're going to keep your job and you're going to have success. That's the mentality that I would look at, and hopefully that's what happens.
I wonder do you think Willie Green might have been that dude for Monty?
Yeah, without a doubt. And we've seen the differences over the years. We've seen this year with Mike Brown leaving Steve Kerr. And the production and the togetherness went down. We've seen that. Yeah. I mean, when you lose a top assistant, we're seeing it with Joe Mazzulla right now.
Yeah.
You know, he lost, what's the guy's name?
Ime Udoka.
No, left hand. No, assistant coach.
Damon Stoudemire.
Damon Stoudemire.
Yeah.
You know, so a lot of times you need that guy. Good job. You passed the test. A lot of times you need that guy. Yeah. And that's what I want. I just don't want, quote unquote, okay, we got this coach coming in. No. Who are you bringing with you?
Yeah.
Like, and what kind of offense are you running? Because I am saying this till I'm blue in the face. Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, if you can get them open below the free throw line, blending into jump shots, blending into threes, I just think they'd be ultra unstoppable. Then they'll save energy. Then they can do one-on-one. They can go isolate. They can do all the other stuff mixed in. But allow them to get good looks at the rim early in games. And I just thought in the Clippers series and especially in the Denver series that KD didn't get many open shots.
No,
man.
he didn't. He didn't at all.
I mean, them guys was all over him. And he was trying to create and trying to isolate and do all of that. And I just thought, man, it became tiring for him. And so I would love to see that change.
You know, one of the players on this team that's obviously been called a coach on the court is obviously Chris Paul. You mentioned him earlier, and you know, obviously according to reports, his contract is going to be fully guaranteed for next year, which means he's and they're going to do this. I think there's a June 28th deadline to where the Suns have to opt into that contract. It's partially guaranteed at the moment. With Chris Paul specifically, I know there's a lot of stuff that's still up in the air. There's rumors of they would guarantee the contract so that way they can use them as leverage in a trade to get some other pieces to create a little bit more depth. Chris Paul's value to the Suns in the last couple of years has been fantastic, although I could argue that it has started to depreciate to a certain degree at this point, especially considering the fact that now we're talking about 3 straight playoffs where health has been an issue. With Chris Paul specifically, if let's just say he stays on this team and he is here, what kind of role do you see him playing for the Suns in 2023, 2024?
Well, look, first of all, I applaud Chris for being able to play and run the full marathon. When you run the full marathon, you're going to have problems, right? Guarantee if you got out there and tried to run a marathon right now along the way, I'm not saying you wouldn't finish.
Oh, boy.
I'm not saying you wouldn't
I'm just catching
finish.
strays left and right.
I'm not saying you wouldn't finish.
Okay.
But you catch some cramps.
Okay.
You run out of breath.
Okay.
You might fall.
Okay.
You might bump into somebody because you're too tired.
Okay. Oh, we get your point, Eddie.
38.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, I laugh at people when they say, "Oh, he hurt again." What? You know what? Why don't you get your water boy butt up and go try to do it then? And understand that if you play long enough, you're gonna have problems. I played till I was 40 years old. I had knee surgery, shoulder surgery, hamstring, groin, calf. I mean, it's gonna happen, right? Chris knows he's at the end of his career. He knows this. I think the key for the Suns, if he stays, they got to get somebody or enhance the campaign. We can get the campaign we got in Game 6. We got to get somebody behind them, right? We got to get somebody behind them or alongside them, who knows, whatever, to be able to take pressure off of them. Because when the day is said and done, I would trust that ball in the hands of Chris Paul in the fourth quarter more than anybody. Decision making and getting to a spot to get a good look. And I just think the key for him right now is age, man. And age is catching up. And because of that, Chris is not going to be upset. He knows. You get older in this league, man, you move on. You can be moved. And so we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens.
Well, you know, I would say this. I get what you're saying about Chris Paul and, you know, injuries are going to happen. But, you know, as a team, you have to adjust knowing that that is a potential possibility from one of your players, because it does happen. And as you get older, it does become more frequent. And so I don't think it's necessarily like, you know, just a slight to him because he's always injured. It's just something that the team has to account for, more importantly. He missed 25 games during the regular season. He missed, a crucial stretch of this playoff, and it's important for him to be out there. Now, I will also say this: as his skills start to, you know, go by the wayside, and it's a subtle decline. I'm not saying that he's just going to completely forget how to shoot and play basketball. I agree with you about the fourth quarter, but to me, it's how do you get to the fourth quarter in the first place? And if you're down by 20 before you get to the fourth quarter, then it doesn't really matter what he can do in the fourth quarter.
It depends on him, right? It depends on the role that he would want to play and who he's playing alongside or behind, right? And is he willing to accept that, to still be on this team and play with two dynamic players in Devin Booker and Kevin Durant? So that's where we are with Chris. what does he want? I do know a couple of years ago when he got tired of, not being able to coexist with James Harden, he felt okay to go to Oklahoma City.
Mm-hmm.
I actually thought that he would say, no, I want out of here. And he didn't. And they basically came within a turnover, to me, of beating Houston in the playoffs in the bubble. So, led by him.
Yeah.
For me, I think it's all up to Chris. I think when you get to that age, man, and you put the longevity in like he has, it's a respect level that comes with his position. And I think the Suns will approach that in a professional manner. If it wasn't for Chris, I don't know if we make the finals a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If it wasn't for Chris, we're not on the map like we were, like we have been. So I think you have to, and I know Matt Ishbia is doing this. I mean, he's creating a level of accountability, respect, all those things, man, that I always believe you should have in an organization. And I think he's creating that. And I think that's how they're going to handle Chris.
Yep.
I think that there's not going to be some kind of, combustible moment with him. I think it's going to be a meetings of the minds and an understanding in whatever decision happens.
Well, I think, first of all, with Chris Paul, and Chris Paul is not unlike Monty Williams to some degree and other players where, they do things the right way. They might not jive with everybody by the way they approach everything, but their output has been highly successful, except in the most key of moments, right? And I think in that regard, that's where you get a little bit of questioning going on about both of those individuals. And with Chris Paul specifically, he's been fantastic. And you're right, he put the Suns back on the map, and really brought everybody to Devin Booker, because Devin Booker deserved a lot more attention than he was getting. But I think, going back to your point, with Chris Paul and his contract, and the contract has to be talked about, because $30 million is a lot if you're going to play a guy, that might not be to the level of a guy that you would normally pay $30 million to. You can pay as much as you want for the brain, but the body's got to work at some point too. And I think that's where the Suns are. I don't think the Suns will do Chris wrong, is what I'm saying. I don't think they're going to trade him to they won't trade him to the Orlando Magic or anything like that. They're not going to do anything crazy like that.
They'll try to send him to where he wants to go.
Exactly.
But here's what I say. I hope Chris would agree with this. I'm sure he will. Chris made a lot of money in this league.
Yeah.
Okay. At the end of your career, when you want to stay, it's hard to pick and choose where you need to go.
Yeah.
Like, you either want to stay or whatever. You do what you have to do. And I think it'll be to that point. I don't think the Suns should compromise, because they paid Chris a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's whatever you need to do to improve your team. That's the mindset. And hopefully, if something like that happens, then it's to a team where any player would be happy, regardless who it is, from Chris Paul all the way down to the last man on the team. I mean, you would want everybody to go somewhere where they would have some success and be happy, just based on the professionalism they gave you as a team. But, and we're talking about Chris, and that's fine. And I know people always talk about, well, what's the Suns' fix? Is that our next one?
Yeah, we're gonna get into that. Yeah.
After you do your infomercial?
There you go. There you see, the rhythm of the show.
I mean, I am a radio host.
I mean, good job.
I would like
good
to
job.
think, even though, people thinking I had surgery on my voice because it's gotten a little deeper. I'm just a little bit under the weather. That's all. But I do got some Barry White in me, too.
Again, as usual, EJ comes in a little spicy. I don't know, so much pent-up anger towards me. I don't know what's going on. Maybe I need to give him an OGs, because it feels like he might need that. Maybe a little indica to just kind of bring him down a little bit. Just chill out a little bit. Just chill you out.
You have me floating.
A little happy. No,
problem.
I ain't gonna have you floating. No, it's great. And if you don't like that, maybe the happy balance. Maybe you're
Can you imagine?
as you're
imagine
getting a little
doing that. Do you imagine how I would be?
I think you would be chill as hell, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I think it would be.
I have never done any of that in my entire life.
Well, there's always a first time for anything.
I'm just scared of how it would be.
The great thing about OGs is they have so many different flavors. They have so many different varieties,
and that might get me.
More importantly, they have they have so many different doses. So 3 milligrams, 5, 10, whatever you want. So you can ease into it and make yourself feel better. A little Happy Balance gummy, 1-to-1 ratio, THC to CBD. You could check it out. You could check it out by going to ogsbrands.com. The best edible in the game, the most popular here in the state of Arizona. So check them out. OG's Brands. You must be 21 and over to enjoy.
You can eat.
Yeah, you got you. All right, so you wanted to get into it. The fix. If you were the GM of this, if you were James Jones or Matt Ishbia, whichever role you would like, what would you do to fix the Suns this offseason?
Why do you think I showed up with this?
There you go.
Why do you think I showed up?
I'm sorry. You think Chris Paul's old. You should check out Daryl Dawkins. I promise.
Why do you think I showed up with this shirt? I'm sending a subliminal message.
Okay, what is that? You want somebody that's going to dunk?
Get freaking physical.
Yeah.
Listen, the Suns need to get more physical. I've said that over the last couple of years. This is a guy, and I guess it all coincides of how I view Devin and Kevin Durant. Like, when I played Saul, I had bodyguards. Like, I legitimately had bodyguards, dude.
Who?
LaSalle Thompson, my first bodyguard.
Mark West?
Leon Douglas, okay? You don't know who he is. Joe C. Merriweather. These are guys that broke me in. Oh, yeah, I'm old.
Did they play for
Sam Lacey.
Did they play for the Sheboygan Hawks?
Sam Lacey, okay? As a rookie, I came into the Kansas City Kings. Those were my dudes. Ray Williams, physical, 6'3", kick your butt. Like, I had bodyguards. Otis Thorpe.
Yeah, Otis.
Okay? Trust me, I'm not done. Otis Thorpe, man. Joe Klein. Big Head Joe.
He did that.
My boy.
Yeah.
I had physical dudes around me. In Phoenix, Big Daddy, Mark, Andrew Lane.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Like T.R. Dunn, physical.
T.R. Dunn,
Thunder
wow.
Dan, physical.
Yeah.
Like, that's where success comes from. Then I go to Seattle. Sean Kemp. Come on, man. Huh? Physical. Michael Cage. Sam Perkins. Like, every team has that. I go to Charlotte. Lonzo Mourning.
Larry Johnson. Ooh, Larry Johnson.
Mike Jaminski. I got to throw my boy G-Man in there. All right? I end my career. Almost. Indiana. I got Dale Davis. Antonio Davis.
Davis brothers, yeah.
Rick Smith.
Jeez.
You get my point?
Yeah, I got your point.
Hey, I finished in Houston.
Yeah.
I got Charles.
Yeah, Kevin Willis.
Who, by the way, will be on my show today, Sirius XM NBA Radio. Charles Barkley will be a guest today on my show, 1 to 4. Come the whole 3 hours if you want to hear him.
Why don't you bring him here, man? You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now.
We'll get him in.
Anyway,
we'll get him in.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And then at the end, Charles, Hakeem, Kevin Willis.
Yep.
Now think about that. My entire career, every team I was on had enforcers. 2 reasons. One, I was hot. Hi-yow. I was what? A marked man. Dudes were trying to hit me. Mm-hmm. Buck Williams once laid me out. That's my boy.
Buck Williams.
Laid me out. Said, Eddie, I love you, but don't come around here. I said, I'm still going to come around. He said, I'm going to keep laying you out. I accepted it, right? So that's what you need. You need guys to protect you. 1, 2, get you open. 3, I talk jump. So guys jump in my face, my boy's right there. What? Mm-hmm. We don't have that. Seriously, name it.
I know. No, we don't.
Name it.
I would say the closest we had was Jock. Jock played with tenacity.
I like
and
Jock.
physicality.
I like Jock. But what I'm saying is, you need, like, and Jock was up and down in his minutes. But
Mm-hmm.
Jock can evolve to that. Mm-hmm. Without a doubt, Jock can.
Yeah.
Okay? But my point is, you need that. Busy. He's that. But the thing is, those 2 guys were limited in how many minutes they were going to be on the floor. I'm talking about a dude that's on the floor all the time with Devin and KD.
Who's that dude?
I don't know. Find them.
Draymond?
Go to Venice Beach. They got over there. They've got guys playing over there with their shirts off.
Yeah,
muscle bound.
They do. You know what their 40 times are? Not very good.
They don't care about their 40 times.
They can't even get to the other end of the court to be the enforcer.
Get them in shape. Put them on a diet. Get them right. You know what I'm talking about, though. There's guys in the league that are enforcers, and guys in the draft that's going to be hungry. Guys in the G League that's hungry, and they will knock you out. They will knock you down. They will be physical. They will protect Devin. They will protect Kevin Durant. That's what we need. We need physicality on this team. And once we get that physicality to go along with the guys that can score the ball and all of that, you got a good balance. Denver, Aaron Gordon was physical with us.
Yeah, he was.
Okay? Bruce Brown was physical with us. It's not about how tall you are. It's about how physical you are.
Yeah.
And so, to me, this team needs that. They need that. And don't worry about, if they might go off the rails. Who cares? Control them. Work with them. But you need a guy that's Dylan Brooks. Memphis getting rid of him. You know what? You know how many people around the league is happy right now that Dylan Brooks is not on Memphis? Like, if I was playing, thank you. Thank the Lord. I don't have to deal with him.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the mentality you want on your team where guys are intimidated by physical guys that's on your team. And Torrey Craig has it in him, without a doubt. I think Ish Wainwright, if he keeps improving, has it in him. But are they going to be on the floor alongside those two? And that's the kind of guy that I'm talking about.
Yeah, it takes a special kind of mindset to be that kind of guy, though. You know what I'm saying? And so when you're talking about Ish Wainwright, I think physically, yes, 1,000,000%. He has every possibility to be that dude. But I don't know if he has that aggressive streak in him to be able to be that dude. When I look at a Jock, that's what I see. I see that you got to have a little bit of crazy in you from time to time. And that's what I see from Jock that I love. And I think he can tap into that and be aggressive. He's not scared. He's going to do everything he possibly can to try and go at dudes. And he might lose. That's fine. But it doesn't faze him. He's just going to continue to come at you.
Keep going.
Yeah, you got to keep going.
Don't keep, like I said, an enforcer on the team is maybe not the best fighter. Like, you know what I'm saying?
No.
You might get his butt kicked if they fight. But you play between the lines. You have officials to officiate the game. And you play with a physicality. Draymond's never had a fight.
Steven Adams is the best enforcer, in my opinion.
Yeah, right. And he won't fight anybody because he'll hurt somebody.
Yeah,
right.
And they know that.
The guy, James Johnson.
And they know that.
The guy, James Johnson, the players took a poll. They said, what's one player in the league you scared of, right? James Johnson. You know why?
No.
He's like a 5th-degree black belt, man.
Oh.
This dude he'd fight MMA, and he's like undefeated.
Jeez.
Nobody messing with that dude.
I did not know that.
It's all about, reputation.
Yeah.
Right? I was in a club one time with my good buddy, Dane Suttle, went to Pepperdine.
Mm-hmm.
2 big buff guys walked in and accidentally bumped into him. And I'm standing there, and Dane like, come on, man, what's up with that? And the guy came over, what you gonna do about it? What you gonna do? And I'm standing there, right? And I'm trying to devise, okay, Eddie, what's getting ready to happen here? That's the Chicago in me. So I was like, come on, guys, it's all good. Then Lou looked at me like, what you gonna do? I said, hey, man, I'm gonna tell you right now, I got a reputation. If you wanna go down that road, let's do it. Because I got a reputation around here. And he looked at me, and he's like, he went back to Dane. What you gonna do about it? Man, I turned around, I said, thank you, Lord. That is a true story. That is a true story. So you don't have to be a guy out there that's fighting, because Draymond is not fighting anybody. Mm-hmm. He hasn't had a fight since he's been in the league. But he's an enforcer. He is an enforcer. And I think that's the mentality this team needs, especially to protect their assets. And their main assets right now is Kevin Durant and Devin Booker.
Yeah.
And guys have to understand that those guys will get you to what you need to get to. Yeah. But you got to protect them. And I think it's important that the Suns this year put guys around them that can play, but also can protect those two guys.
We're going to get a lot more into the weeds on what the fix is for the Suns later on today. We have Stephen Pridgeon, I should say, joining us on PHNX Suns later on today. And we're going to break down the whole CP3 stuff. So if you want some more inside detail, check us out at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Also, obviously, we're in the fourth round, or we're in the third round of the playoffs, the Western Conference. The conference finals are going on. Jokic has been amazing. He's been phenomenal. However, the way that game ended the other night would give Lakers fans a lot of hope into tonight's game. Jimmy Butler is doing Jimmy Butler things because, man, outside of Jokic, I don't know what other player has been as impressive so far. You could probably say Devin Booker until the last two games of that series because of injury. But, man, those two guys right now, in your opinion, if you had to pick who was going to make it to the finals, would you pick Denver and the Nuggets? Or, I'm sorry, Denver and the Heat? Or are you sticking with your boy LeBron?
He can't be your boy?
No, he's your boy. You know that. My boy retired a long, long time ago.
Who was that?
You come on now. You know
that guy that played with the Wizards?
No, the greatest player of all time.
The guy that got his butt handed to him with the Wizards?
He did not get his butt handed to him with the Wizards. He averaged more points at 40 years old than LeBron did.
He took 25 damn shots.
I don't care. He did it.
He took 25 shots.
And he made 20 of them.
No, please. Go. No, he didn't. His shooting percentage was the worst in his career. He played with the Wizards.
And he still was dropping buckets at 40 years old. You talking about Chris Paul. Hey, my man. Hey.
The Lakers did.
And he wasn't out because he was hurt.
The Lakers did make some adjustments, and I thought they were good. But a lot of things go into that. That's the end of the game stuff. Jokic could have been fatigued just based on how hard he went early in the game, and the change maybe looked like it was a good change. I happen to believe it was, though. I think by taking Anthony Davis off of him, now Jokic doesn't know where he is. So now he's posting up, and when he turns, who's he looking for first? He's looking for Anthony Davis before he's looking for an open teammate. So I think that threw him off stride. They'll make the adjustments. They'll try, but I think the Lakers are going to stay with that setup, and I think they should. I think LeBron and Rui Hachimura should actually guard him and let Anthony Davis roam. I think that'll give them more credibility on the glass and all of that. I mean, does it even matter who's guarding them?
No.
So why waste your best defender on them for the most part of the game? So I think Darvin Ham is going to go that way. I would go that way. I would have gone that way from the start. I wouldn't have started three guards against Denver. I don't know what they thought. This is a very physical team, and they're very good on the glass. Jamal Murray is a tank. So you're putting three guards out there. I knew they would be in trouble, and they were. But, look, I picked the Lakers in this series. I did, and I still think they can win this series because I am not buying that Contavious Caldwell, alias Kobe Bryant Pope, is going to keep shooting like that. Like, if he does, then can KC3,
KCP, yeah.
KCP. Call him KC3 the way he's shooting it.
Yeah.
Hey, man, hats off to you. But I haven't seen that from you on a consistent basis in his career. So, and then Bruce Brown off the bench, turned into a young Eddie Johnson, dropping 16 in about 15, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay? So, yeah, if they keep doing that, it's an issue. That was almost 40 points between those two.
Yeah.
So, I'm not buying it. I don't think they can. And I think the Lakers will get them tonight, to tell you the truth.
Yeah.
I think, regardless of anything else, I think desperation. I think pressure. Denver knows they better not go to L.A. 1-1. Lakers haven't lost at home either this year. So I picked it to go 6. And if it goes 7, I picked Denver to win it. So it's 6 for the Lakers, 7 for Denver. That's just the way I looked at it. Over in the East, man, look. I apologize, Heat fans. I'm serious. I'm still not buying into this culture stuff, okay? I'm not doing it. San Antonio's had the best culture in this generation with their team, okay? Golden State, okay? I'm not just putting you there as the culture people, okay? I'm not doing it. But, man.
Yeah.
Look, 8th seed and beat Milwaukee, okay? Handed it to them.
Easily.
Handed it to them. Put their foot on them. Like, I'm trying to figure him out, man. Other than Eric Spoelstra is ridiculous.
He is unbelievable.
I mean, that's how I view it. Like his motivational tactics and how he's standing over there, and I don't know, man. It scares me. He reminds me of the Godfather. You know, when Al Pacino had that kind of look. Like, then when he got behind the scenes, when he told Paulie, like, remember he kissed, what's it? Not Paulie, what is it? It's Alfredo. We went up to Alfredo.
I'm sorry, I've never seen The Godfather. I was thinking of Goodfellas.
What is wrong with you?
I've never seen The Godfather.
He went up to Alfredo. He went up to him. He hugged him at this party because he knew he set the family up. He hugged him. He said, "I know it was you." Alfredo tried to get away. "I know it was you." And then when the mom passed, took him out on the boat, got rid of his own brother. See, so I'm just telling you, man.
All right.
That's Spoelstra. Spoelstra be over there.
The thing that I do love about
He get in the huddle, he like, what did I tell you?
The thing that I do love about Spoelstra, and I'm not saying this as a knock to Devin Booker, so stop before you even start. Spo is not afraid to go at his star player. If you've seen the clip, there was a time where Spo and Jimmy Butler were going at it, going to a timeout. Yeah. Spo don't give a shit either.
Why? But hold it. What made it work?
What do you mean, what made it work?
What made that argument work, though?
You tell me.
Because the bodyguard came down there and said, "Man, I'll whoop your butt, Udonis Haslem." Why you think they keep Haslem on that damn bench, man?
For that? I didn't even see that. But
Spoelstra's unreal. But they did a job on
and
that
again,
last night.
Going back to my original point about who the next Suns coach should be, Eric Spoelstra was a video guy. You know, nobody had ever heard of him until he became the head coach with the LeBron Miami Heat.
You know why? Because he was a video coordinator.
I know, that's what I said.
Pat Riley groomed him. Riley groomed him, man.
But that, and everybody didn't give him credit for winning championships because it was all about LeBron, D Wade, and Chris Bosh. And now you're starting to see how great of a coach he is.
I think he struggled initially, but I think he learned from it. You know, I'm not gonna say he stepped on the floor and he was just Eric Spoelstra we see today.
No, he wasn't.
He learned from that, and he learned how to deal with superstars. And Pat Riley's done a great job in mentoring him. Mm-hmm. And Pat Riley sits over there and it's just like it's his kid. You know, it's like he raised this guy up to where he is, and he's tremendous. His game planning, man, and his ability to keep these guys focused. They go down 10 at half. Boston out there partying, having a good time, and they come out third quarter. And they act like they were up 10. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's this group of guys. You know, Heat fans think they don't like me because I don't go with the culture stuff, but it's not true. I'll tell you something right now, Heat fan. You got an ally. Trust me. If I had to choose between you and Boston, I'm choosing Heat all day long. I will never be a Boston Celtic fan, even though I love Jason Tatum, even though I love Jaylen Brown, even though I love Marcus Smart. Even though I love Al Horford, all right? Even though Malcolm Brogdon is like me again in regard to the sixth man, it has nothing to do with the players. I just never liked Boston, right? That's the part they beat my head in most of my career.
Yeah,
not having it. So I like the underdog, and right now the Heat are the underdog, and they might get game 2, man.
I mean, they might,
but then they'll go home and lose too. I just think this series is going to be that crazy. I do. Boston's not going anywhere, man. They're too talented.
Yeah. I think it's the Nuggets championship to win at this point for me. Really? I think it's the Nuggets championship to win. But I might be saying that just because I would love nothing more than for them to lose.
I don't know. I think the bigger the moment. I think the bigger the moment.
Hey, you think Miami Heat fans came after you? Nuggets fans came for my throat last week. So hey, it is what it is.
What? And you're cheering for them now? And you call it? They go at me on my radio show all the time. Guys call up ripping me because they say I don't like Jokic. Well, I love Jokic.
Yeah.
I just don't like you. Like they can try to put themselves next to Jokic. No. I like Jokic. I just don't like you. That's all.
That's kind of
he's got the best footwork I have ever seen. Now, this is coming from somebody now. As a first year player, I went to Pete Newell's basketball camp. That's all he worked on was footwork. Kiki Vanderway, Purvis Short there, kicked my butt all the time. I went from 9 points a game to 20 a game. Just that 1 year of going to his camp. With my footwork. I'd make you dance. I would literally make you dance, Saul.
Okay.
What kind of music you like?
Okay. You know what kind of music I like.
I'd make you dance.
Okay.
Jokic is making people dance.
Okay.
Like you on the line dance. Like, step to the right, step to the left. I mean, you just moving, man. And this dude moving his feet, he not traveling. I mean, are you kidding me?
He reminds me of what everybody talks about, what Arvydas Sabonis would have been if he was in the league a lot younger.
Yeah, but his footwork wasn't like his.
No,
Arvydas had some great footwork.
But his overall skills were. Like, Arvydas could throw a needle through a haystack.
He's a big boy.
For sure.
He can run.
You know what I mean? And so, and Jokic does
his son play that way then. He ticked me off the way he played.
He's a little different.
He didn't play like Arvydas. He played like Vita.
So
Man.
It was I mean, again, I think he's one of the best big men to ever play the game. I will say this, I don't think he got his due and didn't get his due. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird to say a back-to-back MVP didn't get his due in year 3, and everybody's trying to jump on him because or they were trying to jump on Embiid because of how they went out in the last round. He did play on one leg, let's just say.
He didn't play Embiid. He didn't play Embiid. They trying to talk about how he went out. He didn't play Embiid. Last we saw, Embiid dropped 50 on him. I don't want to hear that. Okay. Embiid went out early on one leg. Man was hurt.
Yeah. You say what you want. Jokic has been phenomenal this offseason, this postseason. And so we'll see how this all unfolds. Eddie, you good?
You know what? Bronny? Like, I'm not a Laker fan. I'm really not. You know this. But I'm a Bron fan. And when my team is out, I'm always going to push for that guy. You know why? Because I'm tired of you Jordan lovers.
Oh, my God.
And Jordan's a good friend of mine. But I'm tired of you Jordan lovers. Just always want to put that man down to keep Jordan up.
I
got both of them up here.
Why
I got both along with Magic.
See,
Magic, Jordan.
The poor assumption by you is that I'm putting down LeBron just to raise my guy up.
Bird, I got them all up here.
Cool.
They're all different eras. They're all all-time great players. You Jordan stands, man. Y'all want to always put Bron down. You know, Bron don't like that. He don't like it. You need to respect Bron.
Do you have your stamp?
Huh?
Do you have your stamp?
You just need to respect the man.
Oh, my gosh.
He's going to go to work tonight, too.
Listen, I don't doubt it. Do you have anything else you'd like to get off your chest?
Wembanyama, right quick.
Oh, yeah.
Greg Popovich, best tank artist in the world. Yeah, you are. Hey, Pop, don't let them get you, man. They all be tanking. They all thought about tanking for Wembanyama. You done it better than anybody. You did it, and you got Tim Duncan. No, matter of fact, you did. You got David Robinson, you got Tim Duncan, and you got Wembanyama. You're very good. And then you showed your ability by going into the second round and getting Tony Parker and getting Manu Ginobili. So very versatile. I think if I had to pick an organization, if that was my son for him to go to, it would have been there.
Yeah.
2, another thing, the French connection, right? With Boris Diaw, Tony Parker. Yeah. It's a lot of great things that come out of that, man. So San Antonio fans, you're back because this kid can play.
Awesome. Can't wait for that. Let's hope the Suns can do some stuff to just kind of squash that for at least a few years.
Oh, well, of course. They're not going to win, please. They're about 2-3 years away.
Yeah. Well, 2 or 3 years, I don't want to see.
You'll be retired by then.
You're already retired now. What are you talking about? So, all right. Well, that's Eddie Johnson. I'm kind of done with this. I'm Saul Bookman.
Shouldn't have brought me on today. You said I looked like I was
Tell them where
tired.
they can find you today when you got Charles Barkley on your show.
I'm getting ready to go right now. 1 to 4. All right, NBA Today Show, Sirius XM NBA Radio, 3 hours today. Going to be talking about a lot of the same things he and I just talked about. We're going to talk about the Celtics. Melt. I can't wait. My co-host, a Celtic fan, he and Bill Simmons. You know that Bill Simmons guy is.
Yeah.
Podcast that's trying to be better than ours.
Yeah. Good luck. You can catch us on the golf course next Friday, but we will be back before then. We won't talk about how this guy beat me in golf last week. We can talk about that another time. We're going to bring that up another day.
Man that I
so
am.
we'll see you later.
I
Bye.
folded them up and tore them apart.